Hello everyone and welcome back to another special edition of the Whole 115 Yards Women's Football Podcast. Tonight we are talking about Tier 3 and 4 football, which is back in England. We've got the SWPL and SWPL2 back in Scotland, and the NWSL is back from its mid-season break, and KC Current look to be unstoppable, which I know Danny will be more than happy to talk about a bit later on. But we wanted to talk because our local teams are in Tier 4, so we really want to chat about it. Now, as you can see, it's not just me this evening. I've got the legendary Danny brothers. Danny, lovely to see you. How are you?
Lovely. What an introduction. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, great to be back talking football again. It doesn't seem 5 minutes since we switched off from the Euros, but we're back again. It is straight into action, isn't it? I think because the lower leagues start a lot earlier than the WSL and WSL2 or Championship. We'll call it the Championship, isn't it? It feels like it's like one thing straight to another because we were playing. So I'm a Northampton fan for people who don't know that are listening. We had a pre-season friendly on the day of the Euros final, so they did a big watch along after one of the last pre-season friendlies. So it did feel like it was suddenly from one thing to the other and back into club football again. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, it feels like it's just been a whirlwind this summer because usually it's like, oh, we'll have a tournament, then there's a bit of a gap and then back into it. But it feels like everything's been so on top of each other the last couple of weeks. But it was nice how you said there about after the friendly, there was the big watch party. And it feels like a lot of clubs have really lent into those watch parties, haven't they, over the summer?
Yeah, there was quite a lot, I think, over the summer, wasn't there? You saw on social media a lot of teams, a lot of clubs coinciding a friendly with a watch along, and it only goes to build that relationship between the fans and the club again, doesn't it? And to, you're watching a club who could potentially have a future lioness in it. This is why we have to support our grassroots teams, our local teams, go along and support these players in their journey, because it's only getting better and better. Like the standard of the Tier 4 games that I watch has gone up so much in the last 3 or 4 years since I started watching it, all down to, majority down to at the top of England winning the last 2 Euros. I get to say that again. That's lovely. 2 Euros in a row. It's trickled down to our level, and we're getting so much more investment in our level as well, which is great to see. Sometimes it can be a bit annoying when it's not your own team, but it's the quality of it is so good to see, and totally worth it if anyone hasn't gone down to see their local lower league team to get down there, because it's such a good atmosphere. It's always such a brilliant time.
That's the thing, and it feels more like a family atmosphere, doesn't it? When you've got a smaller club, when you've got a smaller atmosphere, and you could be one of the founding fans that are there, and they go every week, and then you attract someone else and get their friends in, and all of a sudden it's you've got a following, and you're getting those bigger numbers in. Because I was looking at some of the attendances when I was doing research for tonight, and some games only had about 96 people there, some games had over 400, so there's still that disparity, isn't there? But it's getting better, which is the main thing. And that's what we love to see. And of course at the weekend, so we're going to talk about Tiers 3 and 4 first, but there's also already the Women's National League Cup group stages have already started, and it feels like teams who were playing on Sunday, some were back in action last night, more on tonight, and then even more on tomorrow. So 88 teams are in these knockout stages. And I don't know if you saw, Danny, this is the first time they're doing, of course, the group stages. Normally it's straight to a knockout, isn't it? And so they can have those little local rivalries. And I know we were saying just before we came on, Real Bedford's just down the road from you. So how big of a difference do you think it's going to make that these group stages are mini rivalries?
Yeah, because they keep them quite local usually, don't they, to it? So that only goes to really heighten the rivalries. And some of our best moments have come in the League Cup over the last few years against Peterborough, because essentially we were playing, it wasn't the League Cup, it's called the County Cup that we had done here, which we're now not involved with, because I think they realised that us and Peterborough were always getting to the finals. And so it always felt like at that end of season game, we'd always have a game against Peterborough, our big rivals at the end of the season, and we've won it for the last 2 seasons, and that sense of local rivalry has always been there. It just heightens it when it's a cup final, doesn't it? And you could feel the emotions coming from it. And this is going to be a really interesting thing to see, who takes it seriously, who doesn't, what kind of rivalries get created, because they're still in that stage as well where rivalries are building up, and it only takes a couple of games against each other to really start picking up little things and little nuggets of rivalry about it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And we've got Arsenal PGA, I think they've called, on Thursday, which is going to be a big one for us in
Yes,
our League Cup in the group.
yeah, because the PGA teams are getting involved, I think, for the first time as well. And you're right, it's those who are going to take it seriously. We've already had postponements, unfortunately. One was down to faulty lighting, so I can't really blame them there. Poor Bristol Rovers and Bridgewater United, I believe it was.
Was it?
But they were just doing the updates of, we're going to try and turn them off and on again.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. Get another penny in the meter.
Yes, but unfortunately, it didn't work. So we've already had that bit of chaos in the league, which is, of course, never too far from us, is it? And again, if you've got those little rivalries in the group stages, you're bringing people in from the beginning, so they're not just turning up for the third round, fourth round, etc. They're right there from the beginning, and hopefully bring more people with them. Like we said, I think Bournemouth are in action tonight. I think, who else have I seen? Lots. Wolves are in action tonight. So if your local team has a game on, as Danny mentioned earlier, get yourself down. Find out who your local team is, which we do know can be quite hard sometimes, depending on their social media and their accessibility. However, there will be a club near you, so do go and check them out. However, we do have some fantastic teams. I'm going to start with Tier 3, which is separated into the Northern Premier Division and the Southern Premier Division, if people weren't too sure. And all eyes, of course, on this opening weekend were on the newly promoted clubs. So if we start with the Northern Premier then, Loughborough Lightning and Middlesbrough were the two new kids on the block. Now, Danny, you know Loughborough Lightning very well.
A little too well, yeah.
From last season. Now, opening day, a draw on opening day, which was a very, very good result for them. Now, you saw them a lot last season. How do you think they're going to do in Tier 3?
I think they'll do well. I think they were standing alone around the deserved winners. Begrudgingly, we finished second in the league below them. It was always going to come down to our 2 games against Loughborough, because I think one got postponed and brought into the second half of the season, which meant that late in the season we had 2 games against Loughborough that were essentially going to decide how it's going to go. And we lost them both. I think one of them we lost by the single goal, so it was a really scrappy game. One moment won it for them, and in the away game we got beat, I think 4-0. It was at that point they were showing their quality. So they deserve winners of the league. I think they'll do well. I think they'll stay up and make a real fight of it. But some good teams in that league. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they get on, but they've got some quality players there for sure.
Yes, yeah, definitely have. And I saw on their social media earlier that they're retiring their mascot, Bolt, who was a lightning bolt.
They're retiring it.
Retiring him. However, apparently a new mascot is on its way. So watch this space for Loughborough Lightning.
What else could it be apart from a lightning bolt?
If you call Loughborough Lightning,
yeah,
there's nothing else you can do, right?
They can go.
So yeah, all eyes on Loughborough and their social media channels. Poor Bolt. Apparently he's been there for 10 years. Over 10 years, Bolt's been there with them. We will be looking out for that one. Now, I also mentioned Middlesbrough came up and unfortunately didn't have as good luck. They did suffer a 5-0 defeat, but it was to Burnley. Now, if anyone's been watching the Northern Division for last few seasons, really, you'll know that Burnley are really pushing for that promotion. And it was really tight between them, Nottingham Forest, and Wolves, of course, last season, wasn't it? Up at the top. And they've gone full time. They brought in a new manager who none other than Matt Beard, who left Liverpool, I think it was about February, wasn't it? So, Danny, for you, Burnley, they've brought in, of course, Matt Beard. We know what his track record's like. They've brought in more names to strengthen their squad. Do you think this might be the year for them?
Yeah, it's looking like it, isn't it? Like I said, they are looking. This is a great way to start as well. Middlesbrough coming up, they would have enjoyed the fixture list. I think with Middlesbrough coming promoted team at home on your first game of the season, they wouldn't have wanted anything more than to really make a statement, and they've done just that in the opening game. Got some real quality around their squad, and to score 5, it just sets that statement out, doesn't it? Of like, this is the real deal. I think Matt Beard as well. We were all in shock, weren't we, when we saw that Matt Beard got the job in this tier. For him, promotion is the key. Like, he has to get promotion, I think. So it might later in the season might turn into a pressure a little bit, but It looks like they're making a solid enough start, and this is the way they're going to play. They're going to play on the front foot. It might not be the last time that they beat somebody by this number, by the looks of it.
No, not at all. And I'll bring the full results up in a moment. But yeah, there have been some really high-scoring games over the weekend. I've been very, very impressed. There's no, settling in at all this weekend. People have been, no, we're coming out of the gate strong, and we want to show people what we're all about. Because in that game, so I actually managed to watch it. It was one of the ones, because of course you've got to rely on clubs actually streaming the games, YouTube or X or wherever you can find it. But from the beginning, you thought, right, watch out, because Burnley are on it. Maloli, of course, huge name on loan from Everton this season. She scored a brace. Of course she did. And they've also re-signed Millie Ravening and Alethea Paul as well, who also got on the score sheet. And Claudia Walker, who people might recognise from Birmingham City a few seasons ago, opened the scoring in the 8th minute. So from the off, they were like, yeah, we're here and we're not messing about. So yeah, if anyone can go back and watch the highlights of that, I would highly recommend it. Some very, very good football in that opening match. Now, so let's just have a look through those scores then, so everyone can see. We have got, as we see there, it was Burnley 5, Middlesbrough 0, Hull City 1, Halifax 0. I'm doing the voice, have you noticed? Liverpool Feds 0, Wolverhampton 4, another really high-scoring game. And I do think Wolves are gonna try and be up there again this season, absolutely. As we mentioned, Loughborough Lightning 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. And so again, a good point on opening day there. Stoke City 3, Sporting Castle 1. And Rugby Borough 6, Derby County 0. Now, Danny, we were all impressed, weren't we, with Rugby Borough in the FA Cup last season, weren't we? So, I mean, that's a pretty impressive scoreline, because Derby are a good side, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a decent side. Yeah, we played them in pre-season, the last game of pre-season. They gave them a good game, but they came out on top and they looked pretty good. But Rugby, this is, again, like Burnley, a statement result, and Sophia Mallon, I think, is the one to look out for with Rugby. She came off the bench and scored a hat-trick like you do. So I think this game was like 0-0 at half-time, and then they just absolutely hammered it home. As soon as they got one, it just steamrolled, and I think Mallon's going to be the one to watch. She just gets starts and gets going. She looked pretty lively at Southampton, so hopefully she's gonna do pretty well for Rugby. Another team just down the road from us, and they've got that experience now of going quite far in the cup and making a name for themselves, and clearly they're doing that again in the league. It's going to be I think it's going to be a really exciting title race between the likes of Burnley, the likes of Wolves. Wolves have been there every season. It seems like Wolves are pushing and trying to get there. And I think again, yeah, Rugby will fancy their chances as well. It's going to be a good season, a really good, exciting race, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're one game in and I'm already incredibly excited.
Yeah, you invested as soon as you see the results.
Yeah, because it's always boring, isn't it, when there's kind of like one team that are out in front and it's like, all right, they're going to win. But as soon as you've got those 4 or 5 teams, as we've seen in these leagues over the past few seasons, it compels you as maybe a casual fan or even, a hardcore fan of your club, that you're going to be there every week because every single point counts. So yeah, absolutely loved it already. Now, so that was our Northern Premier Division. So let's go over to the Southern Premier as well. So this time it was AFC Bournemouth and Real Bedford, who are the new names in town. However, there was a reprieve given to both Billericay Town and Halifax. So Halifax in the Northern League. So a few reprieves, and I don't know if anyone has seen it, but on the FA website, it is quite hard to find, but it is there. The football pyramid is all colour-coded of who's been promoted, relegated, changed leagues, etc., given a reprieve. So it is all there if anyone is interested. But looking at Bournemouth, though, I mean, we were talking about them. So for those who may not have seen us before, we're normally found on a Wednesday on the Absolute Football Podcast Women's Football Show. And we were talking about Bournemouth, weren't we, last season, about the fact that they went a whole season unbeaten. I mean, it's more than impressive, isn't it? Because it's hardly as if it was an easy league where they
exactly. Yeah. And when you get that as well, you get that momentum that goes up when you go up. If you've not been beaten, you're in a rhythm already. Players want to stay and do it again. They want to see how far they can push it. To come into the league, and I know Billericay were down there last season, but even so, they've come in and absolutely pasted them. It's like, right, we're here now.
Yeah.
When you've got the likes of Sophie Quirk in there that can produce something from nothing.
Yes.
A player sent off, didn't they? I think in the second half. So they were playing for half an hour with 10 players, still won 7-0. That job was done pretty
Yes.
much by that point. So it could have been even worse for Billericay if they didn't get a player sent off. But yeah,
They had everyone there.
it's a massive statement on the opening day. It's like, right, we're not stopping here at going unbeaten last season. I'm going to see how far we can get this season as well.
Yeah, we're going to keep going with 7-0. That one finished, and you're right about the sending off. So it did make us laugh, because of course we are well aware. We've spoken about it before. Records for teams, the lower down the pyramid you go, it's a struggle to get match reports. It's a struggle to get who scored at what minute and things like that. So of course you look to the club's social media pages, and Twitter has come through with some corkers in the show. And the first one is going to be now, because according to the Twitter, it was a controversial decision, and that was in the official match report as well. It was controversial because apparently it was for a shirt pull. Now, around the hour mark, apparently it was very harsh and it should have been a yellow. So lots of people had a lot of opinions about this, but that was Molly Barron-Clark who got sent off. So yeah, you're right. For a good 30 minutes, it could have been a lot different.
Coming off, can we not be reprieved, please?
Yeah.
You just
We'll go down. We'll go down.
Is it too late? Can we just?
I know. Oh, you feel sorry for some teams, because a lot of teams, we were talking as well, a lot of teams have rebuilt over the summer, or they've lost a lot of players. And I was listening to MK Dons, going to talk about them in a bit, and apparently they've got players still on holiday as well.
Yeah.
They're not here. So you just think there's a lot going on behind the scenes in some clubs as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So if you've prepared for relegation and you've got it in your mindset, right, okay, we're going down into Tier 4, like, actually, we haven't got enough teams to make up Tier 3. Can you just...
No, that's the type of thing that happens as well. Like, we've got a player that didn't re-sign for us originally because she's going off to uni in Southampton, in September. But we were quite low on players coming to the weekend, so she's signed a short-term deal until she goes to university. And it's those little things you don't really see, and this is what happens in the lower leagues, that you have to kind of get by doing these little things and these little tweaks and these little, and people will be getting married and going away in the summertime. It's just things you don't see in like the higher leagues. It's quite fun.
No, it's like these real life situations, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's more of a, well, actually, I do have a holiday book, so I'll join you in early September, but for the August games, I'm out.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Yeah.
Not even playing for AFC Wimbledon.
As a team of 4. Well, no, but yeah, you're right. It's things that you definitely don't see further higher up the pyramid, where you are pretty much expected to be at every single camp and every single opportunity.
Imagine Kang's face if one of her squad was like, texted her, I'm not coming in, not back from Western-super-Mare yet.
Yeah.
Just having a bit of time at Butlins. I'll be back soon.
Still in Ibiza, be back soon. Because that person will be swiftly out the door.
Yeah, don't come back.
Yeah. You have been warned. Unfortunately for Billericay Town, Bournemouth definitely made a statement on their opener with that 7-0 win. And as we mentioned briefly there, Sophie Quirk as well, she was at Portsmouth last season, and she got 2 goals and 2 assists in this match as well. So she moved to Bournemouth because there was a story, wasn't there, that she wanted to pursue other avenues as well as playing football. So this model suited her a lot better at Bournemouth. What a way to open your account for a brand new team. Now, we were also talking about another team just down the road from you, Danny, Real Bedford. Now, people watching this you might not have seen, but I think yesterday I published the interview where I had the pleasure of interviewing Captain Gemma Biggerdike and owner and chairman Peter McCormack as well, about their pre-season, the upcoming season, the state of the women's game, and ultimately what we should be looking out for. And a lot of what they described was, really exciting, attacking football. They're going to make a statement. And Peter McCormack, we were talking about clubs putting money in and, helping the women's model be sustainable for the future as well. That's a massive thing, isn't it? Not just changing it for the sake of it or changing it to tick a box. it's actually the want to actually do it. And they definitely showed their never say die attitude, because they were drawing 1-1. They'd actually gone in the lead through Izzy Bryant with a lovely strike. Lovely ball over the top. And that was in the 30th minute. So you think, right, okay, 1-0. However, McLaughlin for Wimbledon just equalised before half time. And you think, right, okay, we've got a second half here. And I was looking again at the match report, and the yellow card started flying in in the last 15 or so minutes. And luckily for Real Bedford, they did score. It was Layla O'Brien in the 3rd minute of added time, the 93rd minute, to get their winner. But Danny, to have a win like that in the dying minutes of your first game in a new division, that's got to put them in good stead for the rest of the season, right?
Yeah, definitely. And AFC Wimbledon, again, it survived pretty comfortably last season as well in 7th place. They're fairly well-established side in that division now, to go there and win it. And like you say, not just winning it, but winning it in that style. That's going to give them such a boost, because it's that, like you were saying with the management team and people you were speaking with, it's the never say die attitude backed up with all the resources that they've got, but they've got a real fighting spirit. And looking at this league as a whole, I feel like it's a lot more open to the likes of Real Bedford and Bournemouth coming in terms of the quality at the top end. Maybe might be a little bit stronger in the north. This one feels like it's anybody's game, doesn't it? Like, it feels like genuinely like,
yeah,
could be 6 or 7 teams that come out of the pack and really stake a claim for it. And Bournemouth and Real Bedford to both come up and win on the opening weekend, it's a pretty impressive start for both of them. So it's, again, this is going to be interesting for quite a number of different reasons to the northern one, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And that's just reminded us something that Peter McCormack said, because they have back-to-back promotions. And apparently on their first game last season, one of the clubs was like, yeah, we'll get them out of the way first, because, they're rubbish, they've just come up. And they ended absolutely smashing them.
Yeah.
So it just shows, just because someone's just been promoted doesn't necessarily mean that they're out the race and you can kind of, just brush them off and think, nah, they're not a threat, because we've seen they absolutely are. So just a roundup of the other scores this weekend then. So like we said, AFC Bournemouth 7, Billericay Town 0. AFC Wimbledon 1, Real Bedford 2 with that 3rd minute winner. Cheltenham Town 0, Exeter City 2. Gwalior United 0, Oxford United 1. And again, in this league, only one draw. This time it was with pod favourites Lewis 0 and Watford 0. And Plymouth Argyle 3, #United 0. So yeah, so again, some very high scoring games there, and a lot of teams really wanting to prove, why they're in this league, and they're definitely fighting for it. Now, let's go on to our friends in Tier 4, shall we? So let's start. And again, for those who don't know, Division 1 is divided into 4 parts. So we've got a lot of teams. So we've got Division 1 North, we've got Division 1 Midlands. I've seen lots of things saying Division 1 Central as well, which kind of threw me off. I was like, no, it's the Midlands.
The Midlands, yes, Midlands.
And then we've got Division 1 Southeast and Southwest as well. So let's start in the North, shall we? The good old North. This time, new kids on the block were Chesley Street Town and Wythenshawe as well. Now, Doncaster Bells were given another reprieve. And Blackburn Rovers,
Yes.
of course, were reallocated to Tier 4 after they withdrew from the Championship, WSL2, last season. And a lot of people were quite interested to what Blackburn Rovers were going to look like this season, because obviously a lot going on behind the scenes. We know, dropping 2 leagues is never going to be easy for those involved as well. And essentially they have to rebuild their identity, don't they? So yeah, Danny, how do you think this season's gonna go for them? It's a hard one.
I mean, it's not the best of starts, is it? To lose at home, obviously a massive player turnover, so it's going to take them quite a while to get into gear, I think, to re-establish themselves as a club. I think first and foremost to get the identity back and figure out what they want to do. I can't see them challenging for that reason. I think it might just take them too long almost with the amount of, there's 1 title winning promotion place, but also the second place playoff. I don't see them coming near it, just because it might take them too long to get into it. And if you leave it too long in these leagues, you just get left behind. You have to be fighting at the top from the very start, and this might just be too much that's happened to them. And it's such a sad thing to say, because we were talking about them all the time over the last couple of seasons, weren't they? One of the established championship clubs. It's so sad what's happened to them, and hopefully they can rebuild and find their place again. And maybe it's a season of transition where they just end up staying in the league, but starting to build back up again, because it's such a tough thing to do with so many new players and so many players that are left, and all the emotional stuff that's gone behind it as well. It's difficult for their fans to be like, right, suddenly we're in this tier and we've got to start going back up again. So yeah, it could be a challenge, I think, for them.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, because, a lot of teams, as we mentioned earlier, are going through this period of transition, and maybe they don't come out fighting the best they can be, because they just need a bit of time to settle and figure out, who they are as a team and how they're going to play the best together. And it's really the time now for the fans to kind of go, right, I know this is happening. I'm not expecting you to be brilliant, but we're expecting you to fight every week and try your hardest. And unfortunately for Blackburn Rovers, it was a 2-0 defeat to Cheadletown Stingers.
Yes,
However,
great.
I absolutely love it. We need more teams with different names, a bit like the NWSL, which we are going to talk about. But they were also a team who were fighting for promotion last season, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they missed out on goal difference, didn't they, at the end to Middlesbrough? So that
goal
was
difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, by about, I think, 5 goals that they missed out on to Middlesbrough. So
Yes.
obviously that's a difficult game for Blackburn in the first game in that sense, but they'll be wanting to make it right again. I think they only lost 3 times all season last season, but now Middlesbrough are gone. They'll see this as a chance to put that right, because that takes a lot out of you to go that far, to win as many games as that, to put so much effort into that, to redo that again the following season just to stay up there. And I hope they're right up there as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Because you're right, to have it almost, taken from you at that final moment. You've done everything you can. You've got the same amount of points, but goal difference. It's so harsh, isn't it? But you're right. Yeah, they will be fighting to make it right this season. A goal in each half, not bad at all. But yeah, they will definitely be wanting to push. And already at the tops of the tables, you've got there's not that much in it already. If we look, so we've got at the top of the table, I mean, it says that they're third, however, only because Stockport County, which we're going to see in a minute, had scored 5 that weekend. Huddersfield Town scored 3 and Cheadletown Stingers scored 2. So that's the only reason that they are third. But yeah, a very, very good start already. Yeah, I can definitely see them staying up there for the remainder of the season. There was also a local northeast derby with Norton Stockton Ancients versus Chesley Street, who we mentioned got promoted this season as well. And it was such a hard-fought match that it was decided by a goal. Our favourite
Decided
phrase.
by a goal. I heard that on the TV the other day as well. I just quite enjoyed it.
See, we're famous. But yeah, the single goal, and it was in the final minutes of regular time as well. So almost the best way to win and worst way to lose as well in those final moments. And it was Bianca Owens. She was able to get on the end of Burton's through ball and sail past the keeper for 1-0. And again, going back to the Twitter comments, the best description ever. So Bianca Owens scored the goal and then got a yellow card. And all the tweet said was, Owens goes into the book. No one really knows why.
Did she over celebrate or something? Did she jump into the crowd?
Well, it must be, mustn't it? Because it was in the following minutes. So
Yeah.
Celebrated too hard. Let's give her that description. However, let's have a look at the other results from the weekend. So as we mentioned, it was Blackburn Rovers 0, Cheadletown Stingers 2. Huddersfield Town did very well, 3-0 against Doncaster Rovers. Leeds United 1, Chorley 1, a good point for both teams too. Norton Stockton Ancients with a last-minute winner, as we've just mentioned, against Chesley Street Town. Stockport County 5-0 against newly promoted Wythenshawe. And York City 2, Durham Cestria 1, who are, of course, the sister club of Durham in the WSL 2. There we go. So more look for the home sides in Division 1 North. But yeah, some very, very good points won. We're going to come on to probably, Danny, in your opinion, best league in the world.
League in the world, yeah.
And this is the Division 1 Midlands.
Yes.
So as Danny mentioned earlier, he is a Northampton Town fan. And actually my local team, Lincoln Women United City, haven't quite made their mind up
Lincoln
what they
combined.
are. So fun fact, I was looking into this for those who are wondering what I'm talking about. So there were two teams, Lincoln City, Lincoln United. Lincoln United, or the Whites, got recently promoted and the Lincoln teams were in Tier 3. Lincoln City went through, again, a lot behind the scenes, lost a lot of players, and essentially were playing, their academy side, essentially. They were playing quite a young squad last season, got relegated. And over the summer, they rebranded as Lincoln Women FC. And they produced a new crest and looked really cool. It was like the arches of the cathedral. And what they essentially did, which makes sense for smaller clubs, is that they're going to essentially pull all of their funding resources and they're going to be together and make one bigger Lincoln team rather than trying to split the talent between the two, which on the surface sounds quite good. However, I was then reading, because none of the official names were changing to Lincoln Women, that apparently, and this is allegedly, they didn't submit the paperwork in time to be called Lincoln Women. So the Tier 4 side we're going to be talking about is Lincoln United. So yeah, so my local team are in this one as well. But Danny, I'm going to hand over to you because you've got Sheffield FC, oldest club in the world. They're very proud of that.
Back, yeah.
You got Kidderminster Harriers being promoted. Stourbridge, who were relegated, so are back in the league. But of course, the top 5 from last season, your team were in and amongst it. Do you think it's going to be another tight one at the top?
Yeah, I think so. And Loughborough, like I said earlier, they ran away with it in the end, but didn't, they finished 8 points clear of us in the end without losing the game. So worthy winners. This season with that second place, because you now get a playoff if you finish second, so you've got another chance to go up. I think that's going to make all the difference to teams this year. And you've already seen it, how competitive it is the first weekend. You've got realistically 5 or 6 teams, I think, in this division where they will fancy their chances of at least getting second. That second place will be so key, I think, to so many teams to keep pushing. Even if there is a runaway winner, you've still got second to play for. You've still got another playoff place to play for. So it's going to make it ultra competitive right till the very, very last. And it's going to be so interesting to see because there's some big hitters in there, some real quality sides, and teams are only getting better as well. So it's going to be a really difficult season, I think.
They are. And of course, opening weekend, unfortunately, you were facing one of those top 5 teams from last season.
We were.
Can you give us a bit of a match report? How did it go for your first game of the season?
Yeah, it's a tight one. Leafield beat us on the first day last season as well, and we ended up finishing second. So hopefully we're gonna use that hopefully as a bit of ammunition and to keep going again. They beat us 2-1 quite late. On the first day of last season. This one was 1-0. Very tight game, very physical game as you expect from Leafield. They've just nicked the only goal of the game. There wasn't a lot of chances. We had one cleared off the line. And I think we're still getting used to it. We've maybe come onto it a little bit later, but we've lost quite a few players over the summer. So again, a case of still trying to gel the team a little bit. But I feel like we can take quite a lot of positives from the game itself, in that we have lost players, but we are coming back and competing with a team like Leafield, because I think Leafield will be right up there as one of those teams looking for promotion this season. Obviously, Tash Tesgirl has them fired up all the time. She got fired up as usual on the sidelines. So she will always have them in a bit. You always know you're going to be in for a battle with them. And there's quite a few teams in the same boat. So yeah, disappointing to lose to one of them in the first game of the season, but at the same time, good that we were able to compete and lay a marker down for ourselves. I think there's quite a few positive noises coming out afterwards. So, yeah, hopefully we can kick on now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, at least it was a defeat, but it was a 1-0 and it was a tight game. So it wasn't, as if the team is miles apart or having to really focus on, where that belief's going to come from. It's there, isn't it? It just needs a bit more time to settle. And yeah, if it was going to be against anyone, we know what Leafield can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, as I mentioned, Lincoln United is my local team at the moment. Been here the last couple of years, so I've adopted them, and they also faced one of the big 5 from last season, Boldmere St Michael's, and unfortunately, defeat for Lincoln. It was 3-0 in the end. But again, you've got teams that have got that structure. They're raring to go. and they know every single point counts, don't they? So yeah, unfortunately a defeat in the opening game, but I'm sure they won't let that bother them too much as they go into, of course, the Cup over these few nights, and of course, Matchday 2 at the weekend. So let's have a look at the other scores on the doors, shall we? Let's have a look. So we've got Barnsley 3, Worcester City 1. I thought that was a really good result for Barnsley.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Lincoln 0, Boldmere 3. Northampton Town, sorry, Danny, 0. Leafield Athletic 1. Notts County 1. Peterborough United 4. Another name we talked about coming straight out of the blocks. Sheffield 1. Kidderminster Harriers 0. So it was a battle of the newly promoted teams. Sutton Coldfield Town 4. Stourbridge 2. So that was Division 1 Midlands. Danny, how do you think, are you feeling good about the team this season? Have you got where you'd like to finish again? Are there any expectations from the team, or are they just going to, again, try and get as high as
Yes, high as we can. I'd love to get one of those top 2 places. I think would be fantastic. So we've come on so much since we were in tier 5 when I started to watch us. Facilities wise, everything's stepped up a bit. We're playing more games at the stadium now than before, so we're trying to get as many games at Sixfields at the main stadium, to call it that. But I mean, the O'Riordan Bond Stadium, as I have to call it, Fernie Fields, aka the Furnabow, is a superb host for us. That we play 7 or 8 of the home games there every season, and it's probably one of the, if not the best non-league stadium in the county. So it's a brilliant atmosphere to get down there. So I'm really hoping we get something out of the season. It's going to be it's going to be a battle because we've lost a lot of players over the summer for differing reasons. Like I said, a couple have gone to university. The likes of Layla Chanel who came in, Georgia Gale, who's come back for a month, going in September, I believe, again. So it's those little things. Again, Ruby Heselden, who was our player of the year, has signed for West Brom in tier 3. And so that's one where you look at and you think you cannot deny her that, because that's what a story. She's been with the club since she was about 10.
Yeah.
Came through all of our different systems, our FEP system. And then so we obviously wish her the absolute best. It's gutting to lose a player like that, but you've got to wish her the best and well in taking a step up to tier 3. Such a brilliant story for us. And then the bigger, I guess, the biggest news of losing Jade Bell, top scorer, scores about 70,000 goals a season.
That has been fact checked.
It has, yeah. Actually, linchpin of the squad, scored like bags and bags of goals to get us up there. But not just that, Kim Farrow, who's a strike partner, she's gone as well. They've both gone to Cambridge. As has Mia Richards as well, the midfielder. So 3 of them all gone to Cambridge. Big loss, obviously. But Alex Dix is back up front. She's been away, I think, to Real Bedford, so she's come back. And the brilliantly named Jemima Footit is back, who we all enjoy a good shout of Footit whenever she scores. And so it's still a strong side. Katie McLean in goal, who we sponsor on our podcast. Outstanding goalkeeper, brilliant human being. We love Katie. And then we've got a good spine of players who have been there for quite a few years. So hopefully we can just keep those players in place that have been here for a long time, build on that, got players coming back, and hopefully sign a few more while we can. This is going to be so competitive, and I'm excited by the season. It's a new look. Obviously without Jade, it takes away that threat, but at the same time, it gives us a chance to try and see how we do without her and trying to get more players into the game and things like that. It's definitely going to be interesting, and teams won't particularly know what we're going to do anymore, I don't think, without that outlet of her pace and strength and energy up front. So hopefully we can use it to our advantage a little bit as well.
That's a good point. So you can be the mysterious side now.
Yeah, we can do something mysterious. What are we going to do now?
Yeah, you'll never know. You'll never know.
Yeah, because we don't know yet. How are you going to know?
But no, you're right. A lot of teams, especially Cambridge, like you mentioned, have recruited very heavily. And you can see there's more intent now, whereas I think for, many seasons, it was a lot of convenience, wasn't it? And, could you work it around your life schedule, because it was so hard. But now we're saying actually clubs can offer more, and they're taking away some of those worries, and, you're able to go a bit further afield than you have. But yeah, I mean, who'd want to leave the Furnabow?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, quite a few apparently.
I'll have to come and see you, Danny, on a
You will,
Lincoln away game.
yes, definitely. We'll have to figure out when that is. I think we're playing you away first in September,
Wonderful.
later on in the season.
Yeah, well,
Come and experience the
it seems,
Fernabelle in all its glory.
silly that we're so close.
It does.
And we haven't seen enough of each other, so let's make a plan. So that was Division 1 Midlands. So yeah, it was a fantastic afternoon. The third of the fourth league then. Let's have a look at Division 1 South East. We'll go to the South East first.
It's like a weird version of Eurovision, isn't it? Let's check in with the Southeast next.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Fulham, this is Lincoln calling. But yes, so Fulham and Luton Town were the newly promoted faces in this league, and they won both, which was a fantastic start to their season. So Fulham won 2-1 against Cambridge United, and Luton Town won 3-1 against Dulwich Hamlet as well. So again, teams pretty good teams in their league, and they came out strong indeed. However, MK Dons, who we mentioned briefly earlier, they were relegated from Tier 3 after a tough 24-25 season, and they had the heaviest defeat of the weekend, and this was losing 7-0, another 7-0, this time to Queen's Park Rangers. And it was at home as well. They play at Stadium MK, which is fantastic for the squad, but it's just, to lose that much on opening day it's a kick in the teeth, isn't it? I know we talked about it earlier, but it was hard because I watched the interview with their manager Stephen Healy, and he said, this is where the players were away on holiday.
Yeah.
He's like, look, we've got some injured, we've got some away on holiday, had some good opportunities in the first 15 minutes, but ultimately just lost their way in the game, and QPR just pounced and just kept going. Take a bow though to Grace Stanley, scored 4 goals with a hat trick in the first half.
Yeah, like you do.
I mean,
first day of the season.
That's a way to announce yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, she's
been proud.
Yeah, she's been doing that for quite a few years, hasn't she, Grace Stanley, for picking up as she left off, which will give QPR a massive weapon this season.
Yes,
as always.
Yeah, absolutely. So Grace Stanley had the 4 goals, just casual 4. We also had goals from Orchard, Leach to the tally to make it 6 before Billy Brooks, again, another fantastic name, made it 7 in the 89th minute. So scoring just all the way through, incessant, relentless attacking football, which from the QPR perspective is phenomenal to start the season. But yeah, unfortunately for MK Dons, they're in a real state of change at the minute. Another team going through it.
You say unfortunately.
I do.
I think anything to do with MK Dons is not. I'm not going to be saying unfortunately, but we'll leave that to the listeners to decide whether they want to see it as unfortunate or not. But
well, I've got to be impartial. Got to be impartial with these things.
Yes, you do.
Unfortunately for them.
Do I?
Unfortunately for them. It is my podcast. Do I have to? Do I have to be? But no, they started playing at the main stadium, of course, because they finally come under the wing of the main club last season. And again, in that interview, they were talking about, it's part of a longer term strategy, and it's not going to be right just yet. But again, they want the fans to kind of stick with them and hope they see the longer term plan and not just what's in front of them, because it might get a bit, to coin a better phrase, it might get a bit ropey first before it gets better. But yeah, when you see clubs in that amount of upheaval, it's quite tough, because you can't judge them on what the team they should be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they can only play the team they've got at the minute. But their goalkeeper, though, it was Jamie Lee Bamford, I believe, but her leadership, Stephen Healy praised, as, in that second half when heads could have easily gone down and just, let in 20 goals. Her leadership was what really, really kept the team together, because it could have been a lot worse. So hopefully for them, MK Dons have a better run of form, and they do settle in, and they just, even if survival in the league is enough this season to really kickstart.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll shout out one of their players as well, Favourite Ominazu, who used to be with us as well. Fantastic player. So keep an eye on her as well. She has a really, really big talent. We were gutted to lose her.
And it's when you start watching all these different leagues, you find other players that you think, oh, I'm going to keep an eye on them. Who are they going to sign for next? Are they going to, what can they do? And again, part of that longer term, are they going to be a part of the next Lionesses squad or whichever nation they represent? So yeah, this is why we love these leagues, isn't it? So we find other players that deserve to be spoken about. So yeah, so although 7-0 wasn't the way MK Dons would have wanted to start their season, for QPR it was a fantastic opener, unfortunately. So let's have a look at the other scores. So Chatham Town, again, they were pushing last season as well. They won 5-1 against AFC Sudbury. London Bees, again, fantastic, more animals coming into it. 4-0 win against Cheshire United. As we mentioned, Fulham and Luton both winning their games against Cambridge and Dulwich Hamlet. MK Dons losing 7-0 to QPR. And Norwich City rounding us off 4-0 against the Actonians, which I always think sounds like it should be a college.
Yeah, that's like a private school.
Yes. So yeah, Norwich City 4, Actonians 0 as the
Norwich
final
have
one.
another team that have put quite a bit behind them, haven't they? So they'll be up there, I'd imagine.
Yes. They finished second, I believe, behind Real Bedford last season. And I think it came down to the final 2 games.
Yeah.
That Real Bedford won. I think it was 11 against London Seaward, as they were called. I think, what are they called now? Atletico London? Fantastic.
Possibly.
Another one. But yeah, so that was when they knew that Norwich couldn't catch them. So to the penultimate game last season. So again, another league that we're going to be keeping a very, very close eye on. Now, our last league in Division 1, we're going to the Southwest, funnily enough. We've gone all the way around the country and we're ending in the Southwest. Now, let's have a look. One of my favourite teams in this league, Bristol Rovers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Marine Academy Plymouth.
No, but they too. I mean, hey, talking about sounding like a school, it is. It's attached to a school.
Yeah.
Because I looked so part of the podcast specials, it was a promotion special. So I contacted all of the newly promoted clubs, as many as I could find throughout the pyramids. I could not find a single way to contact Marine Academy Plymouth. So if anyone from Marine Academy Plymouth is watching, do get in touch. We'll have a chat about life.
About marine
about
life.
your new season and about promotion and all those kinds of things. So yes, so in this league we talked about Marine Academy Plymouth, but also Ascot United have been promoted into Division 1 Southwest. Unfortunately, both didn't get off to the best start because Ascot lost to Bristol Rovers and Marine Academy Plymouth lost to Keynsham Town as well. And also Portishead Town, which I, for some reason, thought was a lot more south than it was. Because I was thinking, Hort, it's got to be in, on that south coast. It's not.
Yeah, no.
It's not. So I've had a really good geography lesson. I thought my geography was quite good, but now it's even better. So there we go. But this was the one. I don't know if you saw this one, Danny.
Yeah.
Because this was a proper ding-dong.
This is the ding-dong to end all ding-dongs, isn't it? It's great.
It was so
5-4, the opening day as well, and the last-minute winner as well.
So I tell you what, let's have a look at the scores now, and then we'll talk about that ding-dong, because I did make notes just to show everyone just how hardly fought that one was. So you've got Bournemouth Sports 1, Abingdon United 4, Bristol Rovers 1, Ascot United 0, Keynsham Town 2, Marine Academy Plymouth 0, Moneyfields, again cracker name, 3-1 against Bridgewater United, Swindon Town 4, Maidenhead United 1. As we can see there, Portishead Town 4, Worthing 5. Mad, absolutely mad game. And I was reading it, and again, because of the way the data is displayed, the further down the pyramid, I was having to try and be like, right, that, and then that.
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened next? Yeah. I was trying to do the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that was a first-minute goal, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got Jasmine Smith. It's too much excitement, excuse me. So Jasmine Smith scored for Worthing in the first minute. Kelly Jones then equalised for Portishead Town in the 12th minute. Marina made it 2-1 to Worthing in the 21st minute before Torrington equalised a minute later for 2-2. So from the very beginning, it was end to end and actually scoring. 2 minutes after that, Kira Morris put Worthing in front for 3-2. Smith then completed her brace for Worthing in added time of the first half to make it 4-2. So normally in a game, you think 2, it's getting away from them a little bit. No, because within minutes of the restart, Kelly Jones again, so she's now got a brace, made it 4-3. Then, cooled down for about 20 minutes. And you thought, is there any more goals? There was. Shannon Holloway then found the back of the net for Portishead Town in the 71st minute to make it 4-4. And cruelly for the home side, Amber Hazelwood scored the winner in the 90th minute for Worthing. And you just think, like, you've fought that whole match, you'd be shattered. It's your first run out in the league, and in the 90th minute, they just take it.
Yeah.
Just
having
start
fought back as well from 4-2 down at one point.
Yes.
To put all your efforts in and then just have it snatched away again. Oh, it's dramatic. Well, okay, I mean, you would have paid, about £2 or £3 probably to go to this game. That entertainment is ridiculous for value for money.
Exactly. And I'm just having a look because on the FA website, the attendance for this one was 96. 96 people were trekked to this fantastic, chaotic, dramatic match.
You just don't know what's going to happen, do you, when you rock up? It's crazy.
And this is why, go and find your local team because you literally don't know what's going to happen. It could be a stalemate at 0-0. It could be 9-0. You don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, a fantastic achievement for both teams really to keep fighting right until the end. But yeah, Worthing just got the winner through Amber Hazelwood.
Worthing have also got a player called Sky Bacon, which is a brilliant name.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sky Bacon. Oceana Adams as well came off the bench. That's a great name.
Oceana Adams.
Yeah, Oceana.
This is...
Love that.
No, when you have a baby and you get to name them, it's your opportunity to do something fantastic. And all of these people, I'm so glad, have taken the opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
You also realise you're too late as well, don't you? Like, I would have lived that. That would have been great.
Yeah, but such an iconic name. No one forgets you if you've got an iconic name. So yeah, how fantastic. And yeah, I just wanted to finish off the league with a shout out to Bristol Rovers. They were promoted last season, finished 4th overall in their first season in the league. And now back to winning ways with their 1-0 win over Ascot United. And you might be thinking, why do I like Bristol Rovers? They came to Villa in the FA Cup in the 4th round, I believe. And they were incredible. They lost 9-0, I think. But they fought right until the end. And their fans were incredible as well. So we've all kind of adopted them as our tier 4 side.
Nice.
And yeah, wish them nothing but the best. They're such a cracking team. We absolutely love them. Now, anything else from you, Danny, about tiers 3 and 4 before we have a little look at Scotland?
No, I don't think so. Just to reiterate the fact that to find your local team, because the type of stuff that we've just talked about with the Worthing stuff, everything we've spoken about in terms of the players are so up close and personal to you. You get to pretty much hear what they're saying on the pitch, and after the game, they'll generally come and have a chat with you. There's no better way, I don't think, to get into your local grassroots teams to pop down for a game. Everybody I've spoken to have come down for the first time, who have watched a match for the first time, have said, I'm amazed at the quality, but also the atmosphere as well. It's just a great way to watch football. So just get down there, tier 3 or 4 or any tier. Get involved and let us know as well where you're going as well. Send us a tweet and a photo of where you are, because we love to see that kind of thing and love to see teams being highlighted who won't get highlighted in any other way, basically.
Exactly, and that's exactly why we do podcasts like these, to talk about these results and, these players and where you could be spending your time. Yes, you might be an Arsenal fan or you might be a Man City fan, but also around those areas, you've got so many other clubs throughout the pyramid who might be playing on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. So go along and cheer them on, because they're in your local community too, which is what we love to see. So this weekend, then, it wasn't only the return of tiers 3 and 4 in English women's football, but Scottish women's football was back as well with the SWPL and the SWPL2. And we were talking before we came on air, it's a brand new format as well this season. So what they've done, instead of the 12 teams in the SWPL and the 8 teams in SWPL2, they had 3 relegation spots from the first division to make it even. So they now both got 10, which I think works a lot better. So it's nice and fair, nice and even, and we've got some cracking competition as well. Because it's one of those leagues, isn't it, Danny? We'd love to watch more of it, but it's hard to find out where it's on, or can we get it? So, because did you know much about the SWPL? Is it something you've...
No, it's not something that I've really had the time to watch either, I don't think, honestly, and the ability to watch as well. But it is, having done a little bit of research for this and seeing some of the players that have come down from Scotland, it is a league that's really ambitious. I feel like it's only going to get better and stronger and hopefully more visible as well, because we're going for this joint World Cup bid, aren't we, in 2035 for the home nations, and their target and their aim is to become a totally full-time top flight league by that point. So it's only going to be something that's going to grow as the ambitions grow as well. So I'll be really interested to see. And we had surprise winners, I think, to most last season with Hibs winning it. That kind of thing will always give your league a little bit of a boost, because suddenly you're looking at it and thinking, oh, it's not just like the men where it's Rangers and Celtic all the time battling at the top. You've got Glasgow City in there as well. You've got Hibs doing their thing last season, and they'll be involved in the early stages of the Champions League as well.
Yes.
It will hopefully get a little bit more visible to everyone and build that up over the next few years.
Yeah, and it's only getting bigger and better. I mean, the website is, I'm impressed with that. And it's something as small as that, isn't it? That everything's in one place. Your facts, your results, your clubs, everything is just there. And it's not hard to use, and it's not full of, over the top branding or adverts or whatever. It's literally just, right, here's this league, here's that league, this is what's happened, and that's exactly what we need. I was looking through and just kind of refresh my memory of who'd been relegated, who'd been promoted. And so last season, you had Spartans, Queen's Park and Dundee United relegated to the second division. But if we start with the Scottish Women's Premier League, top division, Hibs won last season, as you mentioned, Danny. And that was after they split, and it was after the championship round that they won. And they got off to another winning start this weekend as well, finishing 5-1 with a Rosie Livingston brace in that one, which we love to see. But they were against last season's 8th place team, Aberdeen. So 5-1, a fantastic opener for them, but not the only high-scoring one, because Rangers beat Montrose 6-1, and Katie Wilkinson got a hat-trick in that one. So all over the leagues were having, these fantastic players who are scoring hat-tricks, braces, they're scoring 4-5, and it's...
Montrose took the lead in that one, didn't they, as well? That Montrose were 1-up in the first few minutes of that one. It's looking like a massive shock on the opening day, and then they had a player sent off, and it just went to pot. But for them to take the lead was a nice, fun start to the season.
Yes, yeah. Because again, you might know, your Rangers and your Celtics from the men's game, but then actually, coming over to the women's game, yes, they're still fantastic forces, but like you said, there can be surprises. And there's so much more of an opportunity for teams to do that. So yeah, Rangers went 1-0 down, and I thought, oh, we need to do something here. Hang on.
Better wake up, yeah.
Yeah. And then kicked themselves into gear. However, but newcomers Hamilton almost earned a point. And again, this is one of the moments where you think, oh, that was cruel. They were against Partick Thistle. Erin Rennie in the 94th minute gave all 3 points to the visitors. So 0-0 to the dying moments. They almost got a point on their first weekend out in the top flight. And unfortunately, a 94th minute winner went went the other way. But again, it's a sign of, okay, we can compete. And we'll take that. As much as you want the point, 1-0 isn't that bad, is it, in the grand scheme of things, for your first run out?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've got to take what you can, I think, from the opening weekend, especially when you're coming up. You need to find all the positives you can take. It's just so gutting to, like, it seems to be a theme that people are scoring with the last kick of the game this week, and you've just got to.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you learn, I think, when you come up as well. It's like teams are going to be so ruthless that you can't give them a minute's peace when you think you got a point, they can snatch something from you. So it's a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't switch off. You can't give them even a moment, because more teams now than ever will be able to snatch that winner, absolutely. Just going through the scores then. Glasgow City, of course, we mentioned, one of the first real independent clubs, wasn't it? They got off to a good start, 3-0 over Motherwell. Celtic won 2-1 over Hearts. Rangers, as we mentioned, beat Montrose 6-1 after going behind. Partick Thistle won 2-1 against Hamilton Academical, and Hibs won 5-1 against Aberdeen. And on an unrelated note, I've just realised I'm wearing a Hamilton t-shirt, so clearly I'm supporting Hamilton.
That's it. It's your team now.
Yes, they're my adopted Scottish team, so there we go. I'll be focusing on them from now on. Now, going into the second division, so SWPL2. And again, we had some really good standout moments here as well. So we had, now this was a bit harder, and I know I talked about their website being quite good before. I've just got a slight error that comes up. It could just be a bug in the system. I won't hold it against them. For the first division, everything is there, match reports, fine. As soon as you try and get onto what happened in the second division, there's no data. There's nothing. So it shows the result on the page, all of them together, but then you click on it for more details and there's nothing. So again, if anyone's watching from the SWPL, who runs the website, if you just have a little look just to see if there's anything you can do. Because again, had to turn to social media to get my results. But as we mentioned, so Spartans got relegated last season, but enjoyed a winning start to their life in the second division. And they've been described as another side that's been rebuilt and rejuvenated this season. And so they won 3-0 and they enjoyed a brace from Natalie Bandura and a second half strike from Izzy Young to secure all 3 points. So a very good start for them, for Spartans, who were against Stirling University. So there we go. And it was on the university campus.
I was going to say, I assume they've not got any players at the moment, Stirling University. Everyone's on holiday.
Well, when does Scottish Uni start?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I have no idea. That's a good point. Maybe they have.
I was going to say, I remember not starting until October.
Okay, they could struggle then.
It's quite a late one. On purpose, I didn't just go late.
Oh, right. Just skiving off until October.
It's like, I'll start in October. I don't want any of that September stuff. Yeah, no, October my uni started, so there we go. But yeah, we digress. However, it was battle of the relegated sides because Dundee United faced Queen's Park, and it was Dundee who came out on top and won 4-2 over Queen's Park. So again, a very, very good start to their campaign as well. But the one game we have to talk about this weekend, after lots of trolling by horrendous people online, was of course the Kilmarnock versus St Johnstone game. Now, Danny, did you see the trolling that went on?
Yeah, it's awful, wasn't it? Like, it's...
Yes. So for those who may not be aware, Kilmarnock signed 16-year-old, 17-year-old?
Yes.
Skye Stout, very impressive midfielder, who we're going to talk about in a moment, who helped contribute to Kilmarnock's win. And her picture went up, signing. Everyone, really proud of her. Apart from a horrible corner of the internet who decided to talk about her appearance, and to all of those people, you are not football fans. You are not welcome in this game. And I'm so proud that, even if Skye didn't score, just her being involved in that team is enough. But the fact that she then contributed and scored really shut everyone up. All of those doubters and all of those trolls, which was a fantastic moment.
Lovely goal as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so good. So yes, let's have a look. So Kilmarnock went 5-0 up before St Johnstone finally got a goal back in the 70th minute from Rachel Howie, who converted a penalty. Good way to get back in the game. But if we zoom in on Sky Stout, so it was from a free kick, wasn't it? And it was this lovely curling shot just straight into the back of the net, past the keeper. And that was for Kilmarnock's 4th of the afternoon as well. So she was really building on that momentum that the team had got going. So yeah, Danny, for you, when you realised that she'd scored in that moment, was that just a moment of, she's really shut all those people up?
Yeah, you just smile to yourself, don't you, and think, "Oh, brilliant! It's one of the best things that could have happened." Like I said, even if she hadn't played, hadn't scored, hadn't got involved, you still want something to happen that's going to be shutting people up. It shouldn't take that to shut people up. They shouldn't be happening in the first place. It's absolutely horrendous what some people will take their time to do to aim at someone who has just got incredible move as a 16-year-old to move to a club like Kilmarnock, playing at the position that they are. Such a proud moment for her and her family, for that to be taken away by people leaving awful comments on it. And I think she had to leave social media, didn't she? She deleted everything and all that kind of stuff. For her to go and do that is to even play, I think, after that is an incredible thing to do.
Yes.
To be able to do, to then pull that one out is brilliant, and hopefully that just works to shut some people up, because people just don't think about what they're doing and what they're saying, how it's going to affect people. She'll be seeing that because she'll want to go to that post and see people congratulating her and see what her friends and family have been saying and commented about. The first thing that she sees is then those comments. It's absolutely horrendous, and people just need to think about what they're doing and what they're choosing to do with their time. If this is all they've got to do, then it's more on them than it is on anyone else, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. And, it's these people who think, oh, well, I'm on a burner account. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. Of course it means it. And, there are real people who have real accounts, and they're sharing their lives on social media, and should be able to, like you said, celebrate and be proud of these moments. And, the club shouldn't have to delete that specific post because of all the hate or turn the comments off or anything like that. And you just think there needs to be more done to protect, well, everyone online really, but especially from these accounts who will stop at nothing just for clicks, just for likes. And you think, if you got nothing better to do.
And that's the thing as well. You're doing it for clicks and likes. The people who liked it and retweeted it, comments like that, they're just as bad.
Yeah.
You're liking a comment like that. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
go outside,
Yeah.
read a book, go and see a show, like do something with your life. Get away from the screen if you think that's going to be. I don't know. I don't know what goes through the minds of those cretins. But yeah, we're huge fans of Sky, and the fact that, she had the bravery and the confidence to go out there and think, well, I am a footballer. So, screw what you think, in a sense. I'm going to do what I do best. And she absolutely did. So what a weekend for her. So yeah, so Sky contributed. So it was 4-0 at this point. Then they went 5-0 up. Talked about the Rachel Howie penalty to get St Johnstone back in the game, and Howie then got a brace minutes later, after converting Geordie Malcolm's cross into the box. And then Robinson scored in the 80th minute for Kilmarnock's 6th. And I think as well, probably the whole team were probably energised to go out and fight and show what they're all about. And they absolutely did. So let's just have a quick round up. Here we go. Okay, so first up, East Fife women's team lost 2-3 to Gartcairn. Boroughmuir Thistle won 2-0 over Livingston. Stirling University lost 3-0 to Spartans. Kilmarnock, as we just mentioned, won 6-2 over St Johnstone. And Dundee United won 4-2 over Queen's Park. Were there any other matches that you saw, Danny?
No, just to say as well, it's Rangers against Hearts this weekend on the iPlayer at Saturday at 4:10. If you are looking. So yeah, I think it looks like there's one game a week. So definitely one to keep an eye on if you can, fairly easy access to.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, my in-pod researcher. Thank you very much.
And I just knew that off the top of my head. Didn't research that.
Gonna say, you are the Richard Osman of the podcast this evening. Just know all of the
Take
stats.
it. Yeah.
Now, so we've talked about all of the leagues that, came back into action this weekend. And we're going to finish off with a league who is on match day 16. They're pretty much, well, they're over halfway through their season, but they've just come back after their summer break. I think this will then be, I think they've had 2 back so far. But essentially, it feels like a brand new league, at least for me. We are, of course, talking about the NWSL. And Danny, I know you've been following one team in particular for quite a while. And on our other pod on a Wednesday, we've all kind of adopted teams in the NWSL to, enlighten us and to teach us a bit more about it. Kansas City Current just look unstoppable, don't they? Do you want to tell us a bit about their season and their current standing?
Oh, nice pun. Enjoyed it. So yeah, top of the league. The difference with the NWSL as well with any other leagues is that you win the league, but you don't really win the league until you've won the playoffs. So it's very much like you go to all that effort of finishing top, but you might not win the main league because you've got to go through the playoffs at the end.
Isn't it?
It is, but you've got a little bit of advantage and stuff at the end. Really, really competitive league, but I've only been following it for a couple of seasons. Chose Kansas City basically. I was looking through, researching some of the teams. Love the fact that they've got an all-women's and a women's-only stadium, that they built one of the first in the world of dedicated to their women's team. Love that about them. Love their teal kit, which just stood out to me straight away. And then just Temwa Chawinga is just one of my favourite players in the world. So it just made sense for me to nail my colours to the mast of Kansas City Current. And they did well last season, but they're top of the league this season as well, and really, really going for it. But yeah, just an enjoyable league to watch. I think what I sense from following them and their social media and some of the other clubs as well. There's a lot of joy in that league. There's a lot of happiness in their social media. There's a lot of, it doesn't feel like quite so business-like, I guess. And there's a lot of happiness from the fans. There's a lot of real good feeling around most of these clubs. I think that's quite fresh. Obviously the American game's been quite far on for quite a while. But now some of the clubs are picking up more and more. The likes of San Diego Wave in second, Orlando Pride, that Chloe's been following for quite a long time on our podcast as well. They're always up there in and around the top spots. And Washington Spirit as well have come on the last couple of years really well. Yeah. So it's a great league to watch. The problem is being in the middle of the night half the time. I was watching, or I tuned in last week to watch Kansas City against Orlando, which was one of the big games of the season, because it started at 9. Me and Chloe were both sat there at 9 o'clock waiting for it to start, and about a minute to 9, they said they're delaying kickoff because of the heat, something that you'll never hear in England. So, and then we ended up having to wait until about midnight for it to actually get going. Ended up being 0-0. So that's sometimes the difficulty in watching it. There is an app, which is the NWSL Plus app, where you can watch all of the games pretty much for free, which is a great thing. Really easy to use as well. And a lot of the other games are on TNT as well, which was the case with this one as well. So yeah, I really enjoy watching it when I can. It just having small children, as you'll know, Freya, the middle of the night sometimes can be your best friend. Other times it can be, I just want to go to sleep because I know I'm going to wake up in about 3 hours to a screaming child. So yeah, it's always good fun to watch. I think you can still watch as well full matches on there as well. You can go back if you can try and work it so you can't see the score. You can go and watch full games back without knowing the score, and that's sometimes how I watch it as well. But yeah, so happy with the Current again this year. Excited for the end of the season. I think there's about 10 games left. And Chawinga's firing the goals as well. We lost, Orlando lost poor old Babs Banda to an injury at the weekend, who's another one of our favourites. I'm hoping she's going to be okay, because while I want Current to win it, obviously I want to see the good players still playing their way in the teams. Yeah,
it's that thing, isn't it, of I know you're my competition, but I still want you to be okay.
Yeah, it's great players.
Yeah, because I mean, we talked about Temwa Chawinga, of course, currently on 10 goals, second top goal scorer. Barbara Banda on 8 goals, a third highest. We need to talk about Esther Gonzalez, because I think for a long time she was almost overlooked in the Spanish squad, and she didn't really have much of a starring role. And we all kind of said, this is how good she is. And when she moved out to the NWSL, and then she is top goal scorer, 11 goals. And she's so thoroughly earned all of the attention and the praise. that she's getting at the moment. So plays for Gotham, of course. And you just think there's maybe people out there at the moment who are getting the attention for maybe doing one or two good, impressive things, whereas you've got people like your Gonzalez and your Chewinga and your Banda who consistently play incredible football. And we need more people talking about them because of how good they are, and they need their praise, don't they?
Mm.
So yeah, so if anyone is on the fence about watching the NWSL, please do. As Danny said, they are on at very strange times here in the UK. So for example, Matchday 17 of 26, you've got Friday night-ish. Angels versus Orlando is in at 3:30 in the morning. Then you've got some 1 o'clocks. The 9 o'clock one this weekend is BFC versus Washington Spirit. That'd be a good one. That should be on at 9.
Yeah, we
Weather
think.
permitting.
Yeah.
And my adopted team, San Diego Wave, because of course the wonderful Kenza Dali and Adriana
Yeah, she's
Leon
doing well. Kenza
are
Dali's doing really well. So
smashing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, is Kenza up for Player of the Month?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, just absolute. We saw what she can do with the French national team, with Villa, everywhere that she's been. But I'm so glad she's getting the praise at San Diego Wave as well. And they're playing Racing Louisville, who, I'm sorry to any Racing Louisville fans, but the worst kit.
Yeah, it's
The
not
worst kit in the world.
No. It's a very similar, their crest and their kit is very similar to your very own Lincoln City, who played our men's team last night. They've got like a plum kit, kind of similar. Made me think of them last night.
I hadn't even thought of that. I just think of Racing Louisville as like a golf jumper.
Yeah, yeah, it was that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it's got a complete different feel to it, hasn't it? The NWSL. It's much more. I don't know. It's much more of a party
I
atmosphere.
think that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, it does feel like every game's a party. it's maybe, I don't know whether it's because they don't take themselves as seriously maybe as our clubs do, or they're just there for the fun of it. But it just makes it a really nice, different way of watching football.
Do you think it's because then, like your Arsenals, your Uniteds, you've got clubs that are, well, this is United and this is the United way of doing it. Whereas if you're Orlando Pride, you have grown into the entity you want to be.
Yeah, I think so.
You're able to have more ownership of that, maybe. So
yeah, and you've grown a fan base as well based on who you are and not who your men's team is as such. So you've pretty much done it from the start. So.
Yeah, that's what I like. And again, because they're not attached to the men's teams, it feels like all of the merch is, well, it has to be directed at the fans, at the women's team, and is, aligned with the audience and what they want. And it just feels much more, if you could try and replicate that business model in England, obviously tweak it a bit because it wouldn't be, a direct comparison. But you just think what women's football could be. And we're starting to see some clubs kind of take on that element of, the bigger fan zones and the bigger events before matches and things like that. But there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I think the whole system in America as well is set up to really support those who come through the college system as well, like very much like their NFL and things like that. Prime example is a player called Croy Bethune who plays for Washington Spirit. One of the first, they do a draft, so she was one of the first draft picks for Washington a couple of seasons ago. Gone from strength to strength, had a bit of an injury last season. Phenomenal player. You've got that route, that pathway from the youth teams, from the colleges, to play for teams like this all of a sudden. And it's, you can see that progression from players all the time.
Yeah. And it's set up for them to succeed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than kind of set up to fail or anything like that. And
you can see why the US women's national team have been so successful.
Yeah. Yeah, full of superstar athletes, absolutely. And it's been quite nice doing the transfer tracker, which is on the whole115yards.com if anyone's interested. But the amount of players now who are coming out of that college system and they're coming to the championship, WSL2. Because I know Durham have signed a couple of players. So they're coming from that level and thinking, yeah, that's a good next step. So the fact that we're being seen as that next part in their career is very, very promising indeed of times to come.
You also get players from England going to America for college because they trust that system a lot.
Yes.
You're getting quite a few go over there to get them scholarships and stuff. And it's a great system. Yeah. Plenty of talent coming out of there.
Absolutely. And of course, just a couple of players you might not have heard of, your Lucy Bronzes, your Leslie
Yeah.
Russos, all went through that system. And
Mm.
it didn't do them any harm, did it?
Yeah, I think I've heard
Actually
of them.
turned out quite good for those players. Oh, fantastic. I can't believe we whistled through so much this evening, but it's
Old tour, that
it's
wasn't
been
it?
fantastic.
Enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
We've gone from both ends of the country and up to Scotland and over to America. I think we've done quite well.
Enjoyed it. Where should we go next?
Yeah. Germany. Because of course so we're recording this on the evening of the 20th of August. We've still got the WSL and WSL2 to come back. First weekend in September, from the 5th and the 7th. We've got Liga FA coming back end of August, I believe. So not long at all for the Spanish leagues. And then you've got Serie A. They've got a new League Cup, funnily enough. Not the Sub Cup, not the
Not
Subway
the
Cup. I think theirs is just the Serie A Women's League Cup. Not that fun. But I think that starts earlier than the league, so people watch out for that one. And of course, we'll be keeping you up to date. And we've also got the French League, who 6th of September, so the same weekend as the WSL. So there we go. So yes, it's getting very, very exciting. But don't wait until the WSL comes back. Remember, your local teams need you too and need your support. But yeah, Danny, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Lots of fun.
Enjoyed it.
Lots to talk about. Where can people find you normally, please? They'd like.
I don't have to point today, do I? This is nice. So it's at Danny Brothers on Twitter, at Danny the Brothers on Instagram. You can add the Blue Sky bit for the Blue Sky. I haven't got around to using it too much yet, but yeah, you can add that.
So fun fact about my Blue Sky. I was like, why am I not getting notifications? My phone had offloaded it.
It's got rid of it. Like, you are not using this.
You're not using this. I'm going to take it away from you. But yes, if you have enjoyed this podcast, we will be back very, very soon. But please do follow the Whole 115 Yards Women's Football Podcast across all social media channels. We are there. I'm at Freya T Writes if you want to follow more of me and my writing. And as I mentioned earlier, the Real Bedford interview with Gemma Biggerdike and Peter McCormack is out on YouTube and Spotify, so please do go give that a watch if you haven't already. It was a very good insight into coming up into. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching and listening. And keep your notifications on, like, subscribe, all that jazz for our next podcast episode very, very soon. So thank you and good night.